think good. Here we go. We are live, of course. I know it took a while for you to, come on in, jump on in. But it's gonna be a good conversation tonight. Y'all didn't see this. People jumping on already. Y'all didn't see this. But the name of tonight's episode is Correction and Offense. Correction and Offense. And we're still in the foundational episodes. We're still establishing what a son is, how a son operates and interacts. But tonight, that's probably what we'll deal with the most is correction and offense. I think, all right, it is Wednesday. We're a little bit late. It's 10 o'clock. We usually try to go live at about 9:30, but it is 10 p.m. So it may take a while for people to come on, but we're going to have the conversation in about 2 minutes anyway. But it's good to see everybody. Come on in, y'all. It is Wednesday night. We're trying to be consistent with this brand new topic, this brand new conversation, this brand new podcast that we titled For Sons Only. I'm going to go ahead and take off our branding so you can see me. But it's so good to see you all. I pray that you're doing great. I pray that you're doing awesome. Again, it may take a little while for people to come on in, but I want you to come in, get situated. We're going to have about correction and offense. This is For Sons Only. Get this. I think Pastor Stephanie gave me a good idea. So when I first started our church, I did an event called For Daughters Only. I think it was ludicrous, but what we did was, instead of, mixed crowd dealing with a lot of stuff, we only had women, and we dealt with women, also women issues, but we dealt with, what's up? Gotcha. Check two. I think I just been in here. I read through the show. Like check mics and everything. You did something. You go ahead. I think and you did it. I think check one, check two. Audio. Like now, I think and you did it. I think and you did it. That's from the TV spill, man. Yeah, I said it. I think and you did it. Yes, I think and you did it. I think and you did it. But online, it's terrible. I think and you did it. Kidnapping. Bring the money. That's and you did it. I think and you did it. Check one, check two. I think and you did it. Hello. I think and you did it. You hear me say hello. And you did it. Apostle say, Luke, I am the Father. Luke, I think I am your Father. I think and you did it. I think and that's good. I don't know, and that's good. You do, I think all the way. And you know what? When you go, I think background, then I just turn it up. Maybe it's turned up too much. I think check one, check two, check one, check two. I think and you did it. And it's still right. I think and you did it. It's so funny. I think and you did it. And you tried to unplug out your mic. I think and you did it. I think and you did it. You can have both of them. I think and you did it. Check. And you good? Check 1, check 2. You good? I think it's good. And you good? I feel like it's delayed. You good? I think it's good. And you good? Okay. You good?
There we go. Paste. Oh man, it reset everything. Here we go. Okay, so you should hear hear the audio now, right? But I'm going through my computer. What do y'all hear?
Facebook joint is mad late. I'm on Facebook.
All right, so now I'm gonna go to Black Magic.
All right, they say it sounds good.
Check 2. Check 1, check 2.
We straight.
All right. Can you hear me? I'm still dark. I'm dark a little bit now. So this
Now you gotta do the whole intro again.
Jesus help.
Man.
Jesus help. Oh God. Right there. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right. I think we are ready to rock and roll. I'm dark over here. Yeah. Come up a little bit. Yep. Bam a lot. All right. And y'all good? Yeah, they're a little dark. But look, you know what? That actually worked to our benefit because it gave people time to come on.
Absolutely.
When we first started, it was like 7 people. They tried us like we ain't got nothing to say. They tried us like we ain't got nothing to talk about. And all of a sudden, y'all are back. So I appreciate it. Look, thank y'all so much for joining us. It is Wednesday. It's 10:16. We tried to go live at 10, but some user error. We got
it's the meta glasses. It's the meta glasses.
Yeah.
Definitely the meta glasses.
So we need help. We need help.
It's that tea.
All right. If you do video, if you do audio, if you do anything like that, we need help. We need tech people. But we appreciate Dave. But no. David's doing a phenomenal job. It is good to see y'all. Look, we want to welcome you to something that we call For Sons Only. This is a podcast. The idea really came from some of my sons, some of those that serve, and they thought that this would be a perfect opportunity for us to start to have conversation around the area of leadership, sonship, discipleship, serving, submission, and sonship. And I'm really excited that they pushed us into this platform because I believe that it's going to help so many people out. I believe that these conversations are going to disciple. I think that they're going to give a level of clarity, and they're going to mentor to a degree. So it's good to see everybody. I'm going to throw it to the couch so y'all can say what's up to the people. How y'all doing?
Yeah, we here.
And make sure, Lance, I don't know if you got earphones. I wish you had like some earphones so you could keep, because they're not going to be able to hear. I'm not going to be able to hear. You're the only person that's going to be able to hear how it's sounding online. So please keep tabs on that. But what it do? How y'all feeling? This is week number... Week number 3, episode number 3. How are y'all feeling? How was your day? And what's going on with y'all?
You're new to the couch. You can go fast. Yeah.
My name's David Jr. My day was cool, chilling. Did a bunch of editing today. Normal day for me. How about you?
Bro, my name is Jeff Lewis.
Come on.
No Junior.
Come on.
Jeffrey, for those who want to know.
What's your middle name?
Huh?
What is
I
it?
feel like I can't, like, you know what I mean? Because then people be like, I'm gonna call you by middle name. It's like, no, you're not.
Nobody's got, who would do that?
No, people do that. People do that for sure.
Okay.
But my middle name is Khalil. It's right. It goes from Jeffrey to Khalil to Lewis for sure. It's
and
crazy.
Khalil like
Khalil.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Fun fact: my initials are in order. I was destined to be a man of order.
You felt that?
I felt
people
nobody
always
else had to feel
struggle
it.
though in the areas that they're called to. You know what I mean? So when they're called to order, they struggle a lot with lack of discipline and all those different kind of things.
Oh man.
But no, that's dope. I'm really glad that you guys are with us. David, like you said, Jeff, David is new to the couch. He's not new to us, but he is new to the couch. And so it's really, really good to have him here just so that we can validate you to a degree, David. Talk to us a little bit about how you, because Lance has been with us almost a year. Jeff, you've been here over a year, been serving for a while now. David, we had almost a weird encounter, but it was a unique encounter. Talk to me about how you felt like you were called to me personally. How did you, because I remember even before you came to Embassy, you would say, I'm your apostle, or you would say that.
Yes,
how
sir.
did you find out about me? How did you learn about me? And then how did you start to feel a connection that that maybe you were called to serve me to some degree?
Got you. So it started off when I met Nick Nettles, so Elder Nick Nettles.
Yes, Elder Nick. Don't forget the elder.
Oh, order. Got you.
Order.
Yes, sir. We used to work at a studio named YOC. And I always knew, like, he was like, yeah, one day I'll invite you to my church, but you're like, you work a lot. So I was like, all right, whatever, one day. So he wanted to invite me one Sunday. It was like my third week in Atlanta. He was like, yo, come over. So I came over. I was like, yo, this like service is electrifying. But then I was like, I grew up in church, so I know a sense of like good word and bad word, and like good doctrine and sound doctrine. And I was like, what he's preaching right now, what Apostle's preaching right now is sound doctrine. And it's not like he's the only one in here that can like preach in a sense. So I was like, yo, this is like next level. So I think I worked that actual Sunday. I did BTS that Sunday. I left. I wound up serving again for Pastor Anna's live recording. And then after that, I just was like following Apostle consistently, you know. And then after that, I think I saw him at Enrique Holmes live recording.
Yeah, talk about that.
And
we felt the connect. We felt. I don't want this to sound weird, but you know, shut up. All right. No, I'm just saying, like, because I knew about him to a degree. You know what I mean? I didn't know about him a lot, but Nicholas for me is a model son. And by model son, I mean, you know, not that anybody is perfect, but Nick has transversed the boundaries and the levels of sonship with integrity, with character, and with a level of ease to a degree. When you first start being a son, your primary function is serving. So you have that. That's hard because you don't know the person as much. You may not spend a lot of quality time, but you're having to do very, very intricate personal things for that particular person. And then as you transition from just serving to an actual son, where there's a little bit more closeness, a little bit more accountability, well, I'll say a lot more accountability, you watch how people navigate that. You know what I mean? But then from a son to a friend, you know what I mean? You watch how people navigate that, because on the friend level, it becomes easy to get familiar. You know what I mean? But hopefully, if you've been a son and if you've served, when you start to have more friend conversations and the father, the pastor, the CEO starts to trust you with a lot more personal information, private space, you watch to see how people, you know, deal with that. And then from a friend to a brother, that's a whole nother, you know, season. That's a whole nother journey. So when Nick told me about you, I'm like, okay, you know, if Nick likes a person, you know what I mean, they have to have certain qualities, certain characteristics. And I would always see you. And then when I saw you at the Enrique Holmes concert, we had literally, I want to say I was either with Jeff or I had literally just came from this building, because we were in the midst of getting this building. So I was coming up here, I was praying. And so I had just came from up here. So I was already in a destiny type of, you know, feeling. I was already feeling, you know, destiny and stuff like that. So I got to this concert, and then all of a sudden Nick was like, hey, David's here, you know, can you say hey to him or whatever the case may be? I was like, sure. And then when I walked up to him, and that's why I say it was like sonship at first sight. You know what I mean? In the sense that, you know, when I looked at him and he looked at me a certain way, you know, almost like, you know, save me. Almost like a, you know.
Wow,
That's crazy.
wow.
Save me. It's crazy.
You ever went to like one of those shelters and
Okay.
You ever went to one of those shelters and they said, now this they was abused, They were maimed.
Jeez
They were
Louise.
they're gonna have a lot of
Maimed?
issues. When I looked at his eyes, I saw. No, I'm just playing, y'all. I'm just playing. But no, he was so honorable. He was so respectful, and he approached me with a level of honor and intelligence. And after that, I was like, I'm with this guy. I love him. Whatever he needs, I'm for him. And so he's been rocking with us ever since. It took him a while to join the church though, but we ain't gonna talk about that. We didn't see him for a while, but it's good to have you. It's good to have you.
Thank you.
So I'm gonna throw it back over to you guys. Well, it's on you guys right now. So we're talking about tonight. Tonight we're talking about correction and offense. And the first thing I want to throw it to you guys, and I want to ask you, I'm gonna ask y'all a question, and I want y'all to be honest. All right. So give me the unfiltered, honest. We want to have a conversation. All right. When it comes to me as a leader, as a father, not in the public but backstage, am I a hard person to deal with?
No, absolutely not. We was just talking about that too.
For sure.
Like literally, probably like about 10 minutes, something like that, before you walked in. We talked about that and the levels of correction and rebuke that you offer. Like some people only offer it on one level.
Mhm.
And for some people, it could be like really, really harsh, or sometimes people are too soft, and then people will use that as enablement to continue in whatever they got going on. But it's like, man, you just got a grace for knowing like which moments,
For sure.
like, all right, I need to get in his chest. There's some moments where it's like, that's not possible. That's not possible. That's not getting his chest is not possible. That's not possible. That's possible, bro.
It is.
How's that possible? Like
It is.
because the only other way was like, oh, I gotta dig in his stuff. Which one is crazier?
Is he talking?
Exactly.
How about neither?
Exactly.
You are
You
gonna
know?
on the couch.
Like, but not like you have a grace for just knowing like what temperament you need to take. And I think that messes some people up, because some people are only used to like certain levels of correction. But I don't think that you're a difficult person to deal with.
Okay. David?
Easy for sure. Definitely
Seriously?
easy. Yeah, for sure. I've been around some very harsh leaders before, so it's for I think now seeing like the difference between you and my old leaders is definitely like night and day. Like those people were definitely like put you down, sit down somewhere
Put you
type
down.
stuff. Yeah. Like personality wise, like, oh, you ain't nothing. Like it was crazy. I've seen it. And I was just like, that ain't cool. But now seeing how you do it, I definitely honor you like 100%, because like you show like you are a human, honestly. Like you make mistakes, you show grace and mercy to everybody else. So you're like, I'm not above you. Like I'm above you in rank, but I still understand that you make mistakes as well. So
100%. So, okay, talk to me about that.
Mhm.
And I don't know, Jeff, if you've ever experienced this. Talk to me about disrespect, or if a person treating you a certain way, talking down to you. What are those types of experiences like? How do you endure those types of experiences? How do you keep serving in environments like that? What's your experience with that?
I think for me, when it happened to me, it was just literally like, so like backstory is I always thought I was a creative, right?
Mm-hmm.
I always like wanted to be something with videography and something. I used to always do audio. So I was like, all right, I'm a creative. Had one pastor be like, you ain't nothing. I was like,
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
I was like, what? I was like, yeah, nah,
How
you
old
ain't
you?
nothing. I was 15.
But also, the region we come from is like
Oh yeah, no,
like the Northeast.
it's
yo.
a dog eat dog world out there.
It's like it's
Talking about
crazy.
church?
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure, dog eat dog,
Absolutely.
for sure.
But I mean, you didn't experience.
No. But no, go ahead, finish it. I don't want to cut you off.
No, you good.
I haven't like seen that in house with my pop, but I know pastors who my dad actually stopped like being cool with off of like, yo, you can't disrespect your people like that.
For sure.
Because it's like you cannot ask for a certain level of respect, but also not be willing to offer that. Like you said, like, yeah, I'm a rank over you, but I'm not like, when God gave us dominion, it wasn't to assert it over others. Like
100%.
our dominion starts and ends with us. And some people don't understand that concept. But I've seen like a pastor like totally dehumanize his son. His son was his sexual orientation, like, you know, he was homosexual. So it's like, all right, that was a lifestyle he chose. But I've seen a pastor like dehumanize his son in front of his church. And it's like, how do you Like, how do you do that and be okay with it? But yeah, some people, man, like the level of just like a power hungry thing. Once you get into that level of power, it's like, oh man. And it's hard to have those conversations in certain settings because certain people can't have these conversations without dishonoring the man of God.
Yeah.
But there is a level of like, man, like that's not authority, that's abuse.
100%.
So yeah.
But I do want to bring a level of distinction between a person that is immoral, a person that is rude, a person that is even unbiblical, and a person that has personality quirks. Because everybody that you serve is going to have different personality quirks, whether they're mean or or whatever the case may be. So even though I may not be a harsh leader, and I'm not saying I want to be a harsh leader, but I don't want people to feel like I'm a pushover either, or I'm not going to correct, or I'm not going to, address stuff. So I want to get back to that to a degree, because I want y'all to make sure y'all explain, how I'm still able to correct without, being domineering or whatever the case may be. But personality wise, right? So I'm sure you've had to serve people that kind of got weird personalities, difficult personalities, whatever the case may be. Talk to me and talk to the audience about some of my personality quirks that you've had to get used to, that you've had to navigate, and that you've had to deal with in order to, serve and be a son.
I would say, I don't know if people tell you, like, you're a sporadic person. Like as far as like your movements and stuff, like when you're demonstrating stuff, it's really sporadic and it's high energy. So for me, it's cool to see because it's kind of like a shot down the road. But it also, I think it's weird because the personality quirks you have, like it challenges mine, like it challenges me to mature in mine. And I think that's something that's really important. But I would say like, yeah, it's like it's crazy because like, wow, you're a human being. Like you like everything else, like that we like you like basketball, you like all these different things. So your personality is not something that's unbearable.
What is something weird? Like, what is something weird that
you don't finish any of your drinks? That actually, I don't like that. I don't think I will ever understand that. Like,
wait.
No. Like it's like you don't finish.
Okay, wait. First of all, have y'all ever noticed they fix me 4 different types of drinks?
It depends on the day.
No, man. It was like I have coffee, I have tea, I have Celsius, and Gatorade, and I be thinking like, what do y'all want me to do with all this stuff like that? There's no way I can drink all of that. I don't drink all of my drinks. That's crazy.
Yeah, I think, but he explained the other night. Remember, he was like, man, like, he said, I hate people that finish their food. I was like, Jesus, I feel bad. Like, I was like, but now for the past 3 days, I've been taking like the last 3 bites and be like, I ain't even going. I'm not gonna finish that. I'm gonna throw that out.
Let's qualify this. It's not that if you have a small plate, by all means, finish your food. What I don't like is for people, no matter how big the plate is, for them to feel like they have to finish it because they grew up and their mama made them finish. I'm like, that's how you get obese. That's how you get overweight, by eating more than you should. So yeah, you're right. I don't like people that sit there and
you're right.
Hear me. If I hear the fork cleaning the plate, that thing reminds me of poverty. Like if I hear somebody just scraping the plate, just scraping the plate, I'd be like, bro, you can't like. So yeah, I get what you're saying, but no, that's not why I don't finish it. It's because usually I'm teaching and I'm preaching, and I don't have time to drink it. By the time I get to the tea, it's cold or whatever the case may be. Whatever. That's a good personality. That's a good personality issue, though. I like that. Yeah. Any else? Any? You were very observant. I know you got more. I'm still waiting on one of y'all to be able to mimic me.
Oh, I have it down pat. What do you want to see? All right, so I'm gonna tell y'all this. If there is like a scenario or issue you bring up, once this man goes like this, it's quiet for you.
I don't know what you
like. You could be like, man, well, I was in traffic because like I tried to turn back around and do this and boom, boom. So I'm late because of that. Well, why would you do that? Like, I'm not understanding. Like, if we know that we have to be here at a certain time, then it's like that doesn't make any sense. Like, come on, we gotta be sharp. We gotta be sharp. We gotta be sharp. We gotta be sharp. We gotta be more aware. But once you go like this, it's curtains. But it's a good curtains though, because it could be something that's like as if you work up to a certain level, it's like, dang, we in for it. But even being in for it is not a bad, like, it's not a bad thing.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So I also don't think that like, cause you said like, I don't I don't think that you're a pushover. I think that for people who have to serve you in any capacity, I think they have, if you would view you as a pushover, you might have low integrity. Like your integrity might be really low. Because you're not invading anybody's space, you're not demeaning them. You're gonna let them know, like, hey, these are the boundaries and these are like, this is what's going on. If a person chooses not to follow that, it's like it's nothing you can do about that, because people are gonna make their choices. But I think if a person like looks you like, oh, he's a pushover because they want to get their way, it's like you just might not have the integrity that you're saying you have. That's just me.
We're gonna go back to you because I want to see another imitation. But David, what about you? Like, what personality quirks? And I'm sure you've seen stuff like what personality, I don't want to say issues, but what weird stuff do I do that you've had to get used to while being close or while serving?
I think my thing was like the food thing.
Yep.
What food thing?
So we in South Africa, and so we're eating out there. I think we was eating like steak every day, and he was just like, "Yeah, I'm not finishing my food." I'm like, "Okay." Then he went to, "You finish your food?"
Right, like,
I looked at myself. I said, "Am I fat?" I said,
this man I'm talking about steak after steak after steak. You're not supposed to do that, man.
Dude, that's crazy.
Nah, he was like, "Yo, you shouldn't finish." I was like, "My bad."
It make you feel crazy though. Like
For
it
sure.
really do.
For
Like
sure.
when you used to eating at a certain rate and then you see somebody just stop, it's like, oh shoot, I gotta sit here and just I gotta play this off.
Just straight.
Like I'm just like I gotta play this off. Let me just eat my snacks in a room.
Y'all still be hungry?
Sometimes.
Again, if you, I mean, and again, Jeff, you work out, David. So you know what I'm saying? Y'all do a lot of physical stuff. Maybe y'all are just, I just know that it's gonna come a point where that metabolism turn.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And so I just have to be a little bit more cautious. That's hilarious though. But no, 100%. Anything else?
You really simple. Like it's,
Yeah, super simple.
You like really a simple person.
So would y'all say I have a temper?
If you do, I mean,
Do I get mad? Do I get angry? How often do
you
I
get
yell?
irritated.
I get irritated?
You get irritated.
How do you know I'm irritated? That's what I wonder. How do you know I'm irritated when I'm irritated?
Once you do that, you'll look. Oh no, this is perfect. Something happened, you'll be on your phone. Once you go like, you're irritated. It's like a dead shot up. Like something could be going on and you'll be on your phone. You're like, yeah, okay. And then somebody can say something, you just
Put my phone down?
that's it. That's when it's like, oh man, something got to him. Yeah, but it's not bad. It's not like it's weird. It's like you actually have to find stuff because you don't like, you know what I'm saying? And that's not no gas or anything. It's like, man, like he really don't get mad. And then it make you look at yourself like, dang, I'm gonna get mad. He don't get mad. Like,
Come on.
When you pull up,
oh yeah. This too. This is a weird thing for me.
What?
Like when he shakes hands, it's not like, you know how we like dap up, shake my hand, bro. That's what he does. Like it's like it's the straight hand like that. Like it's like a what's going on, and it's like you always want to go in for the rap and hug, but it's like what's up, man?
No. Hear me. That's only when I shake your hand. Because
Like,
he has gigantic hands.
it just makes me feel so awkward.
If I gave him a regular handshake, my hand just folds. It'd be like my hand just folds. So I'd be like, you ain't about to pump me. I'm like, bro, I want you to know my hand big.
Yeah, like,
you ain't gonna bug me. He be trying to hold my hand. He be trying to like shake my hand up. His whole hand go my hand.
yeah, I've had that dap, so now it's like I gotta time the hand. It's like boom, all right, quick. But like that, I've never shook anybody's hand. Just like it was straight like that.
Brandon Wilson, when you shake my hand too, yeah. I'd be like, yeah,
because you don't expect it, so it's like, dang, is my hands dirty? Like I always try to look down, like did he see something on my hands? Like I don't know what's going
y'all
on.
Men too, so I don't like to shake y'all.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean. But okay, no. So I'm not mean, right, David?
Nope.
I'm not mean. I do get irritated. Lance is 100% right. I think that's my most irritable moment is when I pull up. Number one is because y'all be texting me like, y'all ready? You here? Where you at? Down the street? And I'm like, that annoys me already because I just said I was on my way, but I get it. You know, it's like if I'm 2 minutes late Jeff is like, "You good, pops?" I'm like, "I'm not abducted by aliens, man. I was starting to get
You never
gas
know in
mileage."
today's world. You don't know.
Right,
It's
you're
real.
100% right. So you do a good job. But when I get here, my thing is, number one, it's either or, right? If I get here, I only got one bag or two bags, but it's 5 people at the car. So it's either more people at the car than I need, and people just standing around like, and then when I pull up, this is so good. This is therapy for me because I never get a chance to talk about this.
Yes,
all right?
sir.
So when I pull up, all right, number one, don't open my door until I open my door.
Somebody, they open the door.
Y'all always open my door. Yeah, they open that back door and y'all pop the trunk before I can get out the car. So if I'm in there on the phone, if I'm in there wanting to spend time with God, it just feels invasive, right? I'd rather you stand by the car until I pop the door and then, to go in. But I've never said that, so that's brand new. So that's good.
You know what's crazy though?
What's up?
This is the moment of correction and rebuke. That's like, got it.
And we dealing with correction and offense, 100%.
Yeah, like that's
So no. So that annoys me, but it's not a bad thing. It's just me. That's just me personally. I just be like, because I pull up and it'd be like a lot of people. It's like a lot of energy at one time. Or I pull up and ain't nobody there. That's the crazy part, is when y'all hit me up and be like, "Hey, you on the way?" I'm like, "I'm on the way down the street." And then I get here and nobody's outside. And I'm like, "Oh, that's what we doing." Or whatever. That annoys me. Because then when I walk in, don't tell me hey. Don't say hey to me. Don't hug me. Don't give me a handshake. Because if you was ready for me, if you really cared, you would have had your hind parts. You would have been out there waiting for. So that definitely annoys me. That can annoy me.
Yeah. Well, but now we know.
Yeah, now you know.
Yeah. So now it's just but really like, when it comes to that, like we literally was talking about that. Like it's not because you could have handled that in a completely different, over the top way.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like you just like you're good at reading the room. I will say that. I think that's a big part of correction. Like being able to read the room. So yeah, I mean, now we know.
And I love what Frances said. She said communicated expectations are critical, and that's 100% true. When people are in spiritual environments, like a prophet, let's say a prophet, we just did prophetic interviews, and they're going awesome. I mean, we got, I don't know how, like 50 different people to interview for our prophetic School of the Prophets course. And I can't give them the answer. So during the interview, right, they're answering questions, we're asking questions. I can't give them the answer. If I give them the answer, can I truly believe they're a prophet, or are they just saying or doing what I've told them to do? It's the same thing with the son. See, if I have to tell you to love me, do you love me? If I have to tell you to think about me, are you thinking about me? So if I have to tell you, now again, I can communicate certain things because some people have never been a son, they've never served. But one of the things I'm also looking for is your level of sensitivity, right? You being aware, you making room in your mind and in your heart to prioritize the person that you're serving. If you don't do that naturally, sometimes I feel like I'm cheating you if I do that, if I make you do that. Now, if you have the pursuit and you have the passion, but you don't necessarily have the skill, hey, I'm 100% with you because the passion is there, but I can't give you passion. You know what I mean? So if it's something that you're not passionate about, I just rather you not do it. And I've said that to y'all. I've said, look, if this is not what you're going to prioritize, and if this is not important, this shouldn't be what you do. Don't be back here because you got a friend back here or you like somebody back here or whatever. The only reason you back here, and please, I'm going to throw it to y'all because I know people may be hearing this and they may hear this the wrong way. But if I'm not your priority, then don't be back here, right? So when I say that, though, how does that sound? You know what I mean? Because y'all are grown men, y'all got families and lives and stuff like that. How do y'all feel when I say something like that?
When I hear you say something like that, I just think about like heart posture and serving. Like for me, it's more so about like, you're not trying to boast and say, yo, I'm big dog on campus. It's more so like, yo, you serving me. Like, this is what you're supposed to do. I'm trying to teach you and train you up to be a better person than what you already are right now. So it's just something that you need to do and have to do. So you just serve. That's it.
Mm-hmm. And I'm definitely, I don't play like the big dog on campus. I'm the one in the shelter. I'm the one in the shelter that been abused. Like, help me, take me home. You know what I mean? But no, 100%. Did you want to add to that, Jeff?
Yeah. I mean, it's just the same thing. It's not really. It's just keep the main thing the main thing.
Mhm.
Like everybody has a main thing,
Mhm.
like in wherever department you're serving in. So it's like I think that wherever you are, especially back here, it was an incident where it was in the summertime, and everybody. This is the one time everybody was here, like on a Tuesday, because we all like before stuff got crazy. And we were all back here, and we had everything prepped, but nobody heard the garage open.
Mhm.
And you came in and you was like, "Yo." And that was probably the harshest one. That
For
was
real?
probably the
You remember
harshest-
that?
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
your first week. And what
Yeah.
happened?
What was crazy was he got on all of us, but then when y'all left, oh my God. He's like, yo, like, what are y'all doing? Like talking to us, like, what are y'all doing? Like, y'all can't, like, if y'all not gonna be solid examples, why are you back here?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So like that's
Wait,
Yeah,
go
if I'm not
ahead.
here, that's it. If I'm not here, once I get here, all the other stuff is out the door when I'm here.
That's
But it's like,
crazy.
yeah, but like,
That's
you know,
crazy.
but no, I don't think that. I think it's keep the main thing, because that's what it's about, you know. And it's actually like I think some people forget that you actually have to be chosen for
Mhm.
this. Like it's not like a oh, you just come and you just sign up. It's like, nah, like, you know, the Lord has to lay it on your heart to be like, okay, I want this person around you, and you have to make that decision to ultimately be like, all right, Lord, amen. And you got to remember that choice can be taken in a blink of an eye. So you just got to keep the main thing the main thing.
I love this because somebody just commented. We all know who this person is, but they said, put some real people up there. They're just saying what he wants to hear. Everything is not crumb cakes and Kit Kats every day. Been there, done that. I don't know.
Is this on Facebook or YouTube?
No, this is on YouTube. It's on YouTube. But they
You
just
wanna
said
go on
it.
YouTube?
So
We got time
when
for
somebody
that.
says something
Hold on.
like that, put some real people up there. They're saying what he wants to hear. Everything is not crumb cakes and Kit Kats. What do you feel about that?
I mean, I would feel like, number one, with all due respect, you actually have no idea what you're talking about because you don't know either of us.
100%.
You don't know anybody in this room. You most likely you don't even go here. So for you to have an opinion about something you don't know about is stupid. So I think that, and if that's
He could have been a
offensive,
little bit more diplomatic with that.
yeah, that's weird. Because sometimes there are people who are that honorable. I can't speak for everybody else's experience, right? I've never had an experience where I was under somebody who was like a dishonorable leader. But I would think even in moments, if it's like you ask us honest questions, like, yo, how y'all feel about the message? And if it's something that we don't understand, like we be like, oh, well, maybe this and like, I feel like you rushed a little bit here. You're like, cool. But that's the stuff that people don't know. So it's like you're outside for a reason. Stay out there.
100%. And number one, I think that I wouldn't want anybody around me that wouldn't be honest, because iron sharpens iron. And all of you all have traveled with me to some degree. They've been to Africa with me. Jeff, you've traveled with me domestically, and all of y'all have seen the insecurity that comes along with ministering. You know, I may preach and feel like that was just trash. You know what I mean? But I want somebody that will be honest. And like you said, you have said, oh, maybe you rushed through that part. Or I remember one day, Jeff said something that thing hurt me, boy. I was like, man, this was horrible. This was crazy. I didn't do as good as I wanted to do. I thought he was going to say something like, no, man, it was amazing. Blah, blah. He was like, don't worry about it. They'll forget it. I was like, oh, so it wasn't good. It wasn't worth that. He was like, don't worry about it. They won't remember it. I was like, wow. I was like, you could at least say it was all right or whatever the case may be. But no, you're 100% right, man. This is not something that you just say, hey, I want to do that. You have to be chosen. I want to go to this. I want to talk to this for a degree, because I don't think sometimes people understand how serving is a form of worship and dedication to God, not just to your pastor, but I want you to think about, and I told y'all this, I'm getting you ready to be a husband. You know what I mean? How you are attentive to me, how you serve me, how you, I won't say cater, but how you make sure that I'm taken care of. That's building your sensitivity, is building your awareness and your hospitality, so you can be a man of God, so you can cater to your wife, so you can minister to your wife. So this is not about me only. This is not a means to an end. This is actually discipleship and development. And so I want people to understand that when you are brought into close proximity and you do have some level of access to your pastor, it should be another level of discipleship, and you are serving God through serving that particular person. So it's not about the person. It is about your commitment and your dedication to God. I want to go back to correction, and I want to talk about, have you all ever got mad? Y'all got to be honest, all right? If you're going to be on the couch, you got to be honest, all right? Have you ever got mad or offended with something that I said or did? Have you ever got mad or offended by something that I said or did? What was it? How you dealt with it?
You want me to go?
That's you, yeah.
All right. So we took a trip to Africa. Lance went. So it was like one of his last days, one of Apostle's last days ministering. So it was a podcast. So he messaged us that morning, was like, "Hey guys, I do a podcast today. Be over here by a certain time." We got to the hotel, getting his stuff together. I just moving fast. I started just packing up his laptop, his phone, all his notes, and started throwing in the bag. He walked out the room and said, "What are you doing?" He actually did. He's like, "What are you doing?"
That's it right there, man. I'm telling you.
He was like, "You moving too fast." Like so like in that moment, I felt offense because I was just like, in my head, I'm like, I'm trying to do you a favor. I'm trying to like speed things up. But then like after a while, when I sat on the couch and like started thinking about it, I'm just like, you didn't ask a question, so how are you offended? Like I could have just walked in and said, "Hey, Apostle, like, what are we like? Where are we going? What do you need?" And asked a question. I was just trying to be fast, trying to be ahead. And then he was just like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Oh."
No, we're like, bro, like one thing, like it show. I think as a man, it shows a great level of maturity. Like I think offense is a choice. Because if I tell you I want you to hold me accountable in a certain area, and I do something weird, and you call me out for it, at that moment I got a choice to make. Like, all right, is this person saying this because they trying to, pull me away for where I say I'm trying to get to, or is this person genuinely saying this because it's like, hey, you asked me to be there for you in this facet, and this is what comes with it. So like at that moment, it's like, man, offense is a choice. Like I think I want to say it was maybe Sunday, or maybe it was Sunday, because it was the day after Leader Pro After Dark, and he came in, and usually when he goes to the meeting or whatever, like he'll take whatever he has on, he'll lay it down. He always wears like the zip up jacket. So the hoodie that he took off, I'm like, all right, cool. Let me just get this stuff ready so when he gets back, we straight. I grabbed the hoodie and I like folded it up and put it in the spot. And he was like, "You're moving too fast." And in that moment, I'm like, well, in my mind, it's like the first thought of mine was like, dang, I was trying to make sure everything was ready. The other thought is, you didn't ask. Mm-hmm. So you got to, you know what I mean? Like, it's like a point where you got to be able to like, I feel like, again, the first step in being offended is you have to make the choice to be offended. Like if you don't slow your thought process down to see this correction is just correction and it's not any lines being crossed, you got to be willing to be like, all right, cool. And you got to let that offense, like, let that go somewhere else. Like, because it can't be in here. Because once that gets in your heart, it'll make everything you do clouded. And that's just in your life, not just back here. But yeah, so.
No, that's really good. Darlisa had a really good question. I'm putting it up on the screen. I'm going to ask you guys. It's on you. How do you guys recover from those moments? Like from a serious rebuke to then having fun, laughter, and kicking it again. How do y'all recover from those moments?
I think for me, I just learned how to eat it. Like, yeah. And I learned like, you're not, anything you say to me, you're not saying out of like, you're trying to
hold on, bro.
Jesus help.
I know that wasn't possible. I know that wasn't possible, but if you would have felt that, if you would have felt the energy that was over here, you were in your zone.
So hear me out. It's the Alabama over there.
It is Alabama over there. Absolutely. It's the down south.
You're right.
It's the down south.
Yeah, gotcha. You're right. So let me say it a different way. When he correct me or, say anything that would like be some form of rebuke, I learned how to just like take it in and digest it and be like, yo, it's not out of like he's trying to hurt me or anything. He's trying to better me as a person. Yeah. So I just be like, all right.
No, you good. I just see this guy, man. I just see this guy, man. He's in my peripheral being crazy. No, you good. You great. Stop, Davis. Don't start that. Y'all see how you get? Y'all see this? That's how you get. Let's talk about how y'all manifest. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about how. So this is what I've noticed. Mm-hmm. The moment, like, Lance, when you get rebuked, you get quiet. You know what I mean? You start kind of lowering your shoulders, lowering your head a little bit or whatever. You back up, you know what I mean? Start kind of like kicking rocks, you know, there's just that little or whatever. Jeff, he serves over his I won't say his anger or whatever, but I can always tell, you know, like I'll say something or whatever. And so he gonna start, you know, just doing stuff. Like he'll be doing stuff, but it's gonna be somewhere else, like in the back or something like that. Like he'll remove himself, but he's still doing stuff. But David, he gets real quiet, and all of a sudden stuff don't work no more. Cameras don't work, mics don't work. One night I came in, it looked like he had just ripped out, just took out all the plug. I said, one night I came in, the whole switch was gone. I said, I don't know what I did.
Somebody took his ball and ran home.
I said, this man is mad at me.
You don't ask me and mine for nothing from now on.
I said, man, but no, y'all be having. That's what I'm saying. Y'all be having little stuff.
Yeah, for sure. But I think the challenge is like, again, like I just try, like you got to serve through that.
100%.
Game time is game time. Like figure all that stuff out at the end. Like just be quick to pivot on your feet. So yeah. And I got y'all gotta, bro. If y'all on here, y'all in the comments, like no disrespect to y'all. Y'all can't say because how we're answering, like y'all trying to be nice. It's like we're not trying to be nice. At the same time, I feel like people need to understand when you had these conversations, the line between honor and dishonor is so thin that if you do not manage how you're expressing something, you can leave so much room for the wrong interpretation. So like before y'all comment, I want y'all to think about the environment we're in and then put your comment.
But I mean, somebody said answer the question. Y'all trying to be cute when answering the questions and honest and raw. I mean, y'all could be honest and raw. I mean, I want y'all to be honest and raw. I mean, I don't think that you guys aren't, but I think what people are looking for is a little bit more backstage, all access. Yeah, 100%.
But this is how we are backstage with you. It's not like that. So
but people think that people be nice and it's a joke or it's a game. Literally, this is how I am all the time. Somebody did have a question. I thought that this was a good question. They said, question, what is the difference between sons and daughters in respects to serving? That's a really, really good question. Number one, and I want to see if you guys can follow me when I say this. So number one, spiritually, we know that there is not a difference between sons and daughters. God will pour out his spirit upon all flesh. Sons and daughters shall prophesy. In the kingdom of God, being a mature representative of the Father means you are a huios. That's the Greek term, and it means a son. A male or a female can be a son of God. Now, we can say daughter just because we want to include the feminine gender, but in truth, because there is no male or female in the spirit, the scripture literally says there is no male or female in Christ. So we are all sons. We are all sons. So, but when it comes to serving, sons and daughters will have different areas of service based on levels of maturity. Are you following me?
Absolutely.
Can a daughter travel with me? 100%, but most likely it's going to be another mature woman on that trip, or your husband going to be on that trip. If your husband ain't on that trip, you're not going with me. And if there's not another mature woman of God that you're serving with, you're not going with me. So if a woman ever travels with me, it's going to be multiple women there that are going to be serving, because there are certain things that you can't do for me. You follow what I'm saying? You may be able to iron for me, but when I finish preaching and I have to go in the back and I have to change my clothes, you ain't going there, right? Yeah. I need a man to be there. I need a male to be there. Even if we were out, get this, even if you did go with me, because we went to Jerusalem and it was me and everybody else that went on the trip with me was female. There was no other males on that trip. Everybody from Stephanie, prophetess, Stephanie's grandmother, Stephanie's mother, Sarah. So everybody was a female. When we went out, we going out together, right? So like we're not, even if we want to chill and go get go get a shawarma or go get something to eat or something like that, it ain't gonna be me and just one other person. We're gonna all go as a group. And sometimes and this is both male and female, sometimes people take offense to that in the sense of, I want personal time. Well, if you want personal time, it's going to be at the church, in my office, or it's going to be in the city, where, in a public place or whatever the case may be. So I think that you have to be mindful of that. And a daughter has to be mindful of that. I think a lot of times people want the same relationship with Pastor Patrice as they have with me. And Pastor Patrice is a lot more guarded. Pastor Patrice is a lot more protective. Pastor Patrice is a lot more private. So she'll let you serve, but even being in her space, the way I allow men to be in my space, that's going to take you some time. And some people are not willing to invest that type of time to build that relationship or whatever the case may be. So it can be definitely, there's some things that definitely women can do, but I think a woman has to be mature enough to know that, hey, he is still a male and I have to respect him as a man. So I definitely wanted to answer that question because I thought that was a really, really good question.
Did you see the other one? It says, can a son be your same age? And do you handle that discipleship or sonship differently if you're the same age?
Oh, that's really, really good. Can a son be your same age? And do you handle that discipleship or sonship differently if you're the same age? Number one, regardless of the age, I'm going to always be respectful, right? My job is never to emasculate a man, to make a man feel less of a man, to make a man feel like I'm above him or I'm better than him. So it don't matter whether you 18 or 28, 38, I'm going to treat you with a base level of respect. I do have a lot of sons that are a lot older than me, like literally 50s, 40s. Some people have been in ministry longer, whatever the case may be. So I always just try to be humble and make sure that I'm dealing with them with a level of integrity, character, that I'm not trying to son them. I'm not trying to, make them do superfluous work just so that they would be humble or whatever the case may be. So do I handle them differently? No, because a lot of the sons, even Apostle Ba was an apostle. He was a senior pastor. He's older than me. But when he came to submit, he let me know that he was a son. I don't treat him like he's a little child, but at the same time, I do make sure that he gets that same level of impartation, that same level of love. I'm not going to withhold from him affirmation that I would give to an 18-year-old just because they're 38 or 48. No, if they're doing a good job, I'm going to say, man, you're doing a phenomenal job. I'm not going to withhold that just because they grown and they got kids. And hopefully as a son, they can receive that affirmation. They can receive that level of love and that level of correction. I think it only becomes difficult when it is hard to correct them because they may be prideful. They may feel like they know more, whatever the case may be. And in that sense, then it becomes a little bit harder to be a son. How old are y'all? So David, how old are you?
28.
28, and Jeff is
29.
29. So I'm probably about 10 years older than y'all to a degree, maybe 8-9 years older than y'all. I mean, how do y'all feel serving with somebody that's close to your age?
I don't feel good. You feel the way about it?
No.
I don't feel the way about it.
Okay, that was a lackluster answer.
No, I mean, it's not.
This is a podcast.
It's a podcast. It shows you're still like in touch with our age range, so it's relatable. Because sometimes if you serve somebody that's like years older than you, you can feel like where I'm at right now. Like, dang, like because that season of life may be so far removed from you, you might not understand the sensitivity of what I'm going through. But that's just like I just feel like that's in life. But for having somebody who's not that far out, it's like, hey, like I was literally just in your shoes, 8, 9, 10 years ago. So I know where you are. I think it's really important, but it's cool because again, like it challenges, like, you look at like the ladder that you have to climb personally. It's like, all right, man, like, like we was talking about it earlier, like one day who you are to us is, Lord willing, who will be to somebody else. Mm-hmm. So we don't know if that person is going to be, we may be 40, that person be 22, 25. They might be 30, 36, whatever the case is. But it's like, it's a good marker of like, oh, wow, on any level, at any age, this could be something that is done the right way. But yeah, I mean, I don't really feel a way about it.
No, so. And again, I want to read this again because I think that this is a phenomenal question. Can a son be your same age? There is no natural age does not compute to spiritual age. I was just talking to somebody today and I said, when you get born again, you are a babe in Christ. But being a babe or a newbie doesn't have an age on it in the sense of you can get saved when you're 15 and be in the church for 20 years. But if you have not grown, matured, you're still a babe in Christ.
Mhm.
It's not like, okay, do that for 2 years and now you've graduated or whatever the case may be. No, it takes discipleship and maturity. So I do think that, regardless of a person's natural age, can they still be a son? 100%, because it's not based on natural age. It's based on spiritual age, spiritual wisdom. And remember, I'm not trying to be a person's natural father.
Yeah.
Now, for some cases, if a person needs some type of manhood training, some manhood discipleship, you can do that. But my primary goal is your destiny, your purpose, your gift, your calling, your anointing, your ministry. So I'm more so dealing with that. And again, that doesn't have an age on it. So regardless of how old they are, I should still be able to disciple them in their calling and in their gifting, so forth and so on. So that was a good question. I got another question. How do you keep your heart pure when serving so that it remains worship unto the Lord and you don't start idolizing your leader? Well, let me say this. Number one, because if sonship is done right, how do I say this? Man, this is gonna be mature. All right, I want you to hear me. Sarah loved and served Abraham to the degree that she called him Lord.
Yeah, that's crazy.
All right. If I love my wife, we don't just make love, we worship. Now, when I say that, what that means is I don't just hold her feet. I'm staring at them mothers. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not just no, bruh, I'm going in because, and please hear this the right way, y'all, because I'm using the term worship, but I'm just talking about extreme adoration, affection, and appreciation. You follow what I'm saying? So to the common observer, if I'm doing what I'm doing to my wife, and I'm talking about just, giving her flowers, giving her gifts, you need anything, they can I get you, if I'm doing dang, bro, you kind of sprung, man, you're doing a lot, man. You're doing the most. Why wouldn't I do the most for somebody I've dedicated my life to? You follow what I'm saying? But to the person that lacks commitment, loyalty, or faithfulness, they're going to always see that as idolatry. Bro, you don't even know what idolatry is. You know what I mean? And so it goes the same way when it comes to serving a church. I've seen people they was on drugs, they was on crack, they was on all, and then when they got saved, they said, bro, as dedicated as I was to the world, I'm going to be just that dedicated to my church. But the moment they start serving and the moment they get involved, people are like, you at the church too much. Right? You idolize it. That's a cult. And it's like, bro, you don't know how committed I was to the kingdom of darkness. I got to do this to stay sane. If I don't do this, I may go back to drugs. I may go back to this. So my dedication is my devotion. Just because I don't want to go out with you and I want to focus on ministry doesn't mean I'm in a cult going to a spiritual father. I've had people, and again, y'all can be honest. I'm going to throw it to y'all. I've had people look at the way other sons serve and say, idolatry. I've had people leave the ministry because I don't like the way they serve it and I don't like the way they're, they honor him and whatever the case may be. Have I ever asked, I'm throwing it to y'all, and this private conversation, have I ever asked for your loyalty? Have I ever asked in the sense of you got to do this, you got to honor me this way, show me respect in this way? Have I ever done that?
No,
not once.
Not a thing. Well, there was that one time he did ask us to walk to New York to get a cheesecake for him.
That's a lie. That's
from
crazy.
Junior's. Outside of that,
with everything that's going on with
yeah.
Diddy right now, don't even compare. They trying to take this man down.
Yeah, it's Curtis for him.
Yeah. But no, I'm serious. Have you ever heard me ask you for a level of loyalty that made you question? I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's right, man. I don't know.
Nah, no. But I feel like if that is a question, we have common sense. I would like to say that we do. So anything that you might ask for is something like, hey, can somebody stop and get a door stopper for this? Or hey, I didn't have time to go and grab this from the store. I needed that. Do anybody got time? You don't ask for anything that, and I'm not saying it disrespectfully. You don't ask anything that a great friend wouldn't ask for. You get what I'm saying? You don't ask for anything that somebody who you're close with wouldn't ask for, hey, if you got time, can you just think of me when you go here? Boom, boom, boom. So it's not anything over the top. Like, and I feel like if it was for anybody, they will be able to come to you and like ask or like express that, and you will be willing to have a conversation. I think that's like one of the things like that's dope about you too. Like you're willing to have any conversation. So yeah.
What about now, David? I'm throwing it to you because David doesn't just serve in a son capacity. I think David also serves in a professional capacity because he does offer a lot of his professional talents, you know, setting up lights, setting up this type of stuff. But by and large, I mean, we're about to do Destiny Tour. We're about to do a few other things that's contract paid. But a lot of the stuff that you do is a labor of love. You don't get paid. I was just talking to Pastor Chris about that. I'm like, you know, he cuts my videos, he makes reels. He don't get paid for none of that type of stuff. You know what I mean? How have you been able to deal with that? Because you're a single man. You got you got 4. How many children you got? How many children? You got 2 children. 2.
That's crazy.
2, 3, 4. How many you got?
2.
Okay, man.
3 or 4 is crazy.
Been busy.
He just keep going up.
Been busy.
Like 17.
But what I'm saying is you're a grown man. You got a family. You got to feed people. You got stuff to do. Talk to me, man. Like, how do you feel the fact that you are serving, you are giving your gifts, your talent, you are doing all of that, and you never get a dime? I'm talking about not a dime, not a slice of pizza. Like you don't get nothing. How do you deal with that, you know, and keep your heart pure while serving?
I think what's bigger than all money is knowledge. Just in every conversation that we have, no matter if we're joking or anything, you always drop a knowledge in some type of capacity, and it's just like, yo, I would cherish you and your knowledge way more than I cherish any dollar amount ever in life. So I'll just keep continuously serving, doing what I got to do, just to make sure, you know, your vision is pushed across the world, and we're good.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And there's so many people. I think about Darlise. Darlise is on here. Darlise has been serving me for years. She manages my booking, she manages my meetings and all of that. And that's what people don't understand as well. So, and I'm not going to say numbers, but like if people invite me to preach, right? They don't understand. Number one, I'm having to pay people. You know what I mean? Whether I'm getting graphics made, my diagrams made, my presentation made, whether, whatever the case may be, you know, I got family, I got all of these different things that I'm trying to do. So sometimes when I'm charging a person what I'm charging them, it's not just because I want that. It's because I want to be able to take care of other stuff. And I've been thinking about this for a while. It's like, I need to charge more so that every time I get an engagement, I can pay Darlise something out of that. You know what I mean? But I would have to charge them more. And they'll look at that like, dang, he think he all that, he got to charge that. No, I'm trying to take care of somebody else. And at a certain point, I don't want Darlise to have to work 2 jobs and work for me and work for them. No, I want you to be able to work for me, but I want to be able to create that income. So even Darlise, I appreciate her because she does a phenomenal job just taking care of me. So no, that's really, really good. So we're talking tonight about correction and offense. This may be your first time joining us. If you are, we are dealing with something that we call for sons only. This is a conversation between fathers and sons, between pastors and their disciples or those that serve them. And we've been doing this for 3 weeks. This is our 3rd episode, and we're having a really, really good time. You guys are loving this. I will say this, crowd be thick on here. I mean, y'all can't see everybody. It's 144 with Facebook and YouTube, but it's hard for us to keep these numbers on Monday. They like this conversation. I really appreciate it. So this is really, really good. So I got another couple of questions. So somebody said, how do you make sure you're not projecting the wounds or voids you have from your natural parents on your spiritual parents? I love that question. And I'm gonna ask it like this. How do you make sure that the issues that you've had with your natural parents don't bleed over into serving your spiritual parents?
You deal with them. I mean, for me, like, we was just talking about this. Like, my experience growing up with was my dad is my natural father, but he was also my first pastor, my first spiritual father. So it was hard to differentiate the two of those because it's like, he could be rebuking me and it's like, you bring up something that only you and the family know about, and I got to figure out how to decipher that. And all those things were to make me better as a man and help me learn how to process different, just different issues and stuff. But I would say, like, man, you got to deal with those early and deal with them often, like you have to, because the worst thing for you to do is start to converge the two Because once you get to that point of projection, that's hard to come back from. I've seen that happen in my parents' church. Like people have issues with their mom or with their dad, and now my family's getting projected on. And as a kid, you feel defensive because it's like, dang, it's nothing I could do. But now as a man, anything that would be deemed like an issue or a disagreement, it's like, man, like you check your heart first before you go out the door, before you come here to serve, because there's really no room for that. Like if you think about it, what you have going on in your personal life is not an excuse to not execute your assignment or your area of service well. So especially when it comes to that, for me, that's a good subject, because you have to do the work often, and you got to always understand like this person actually don't have anything to do with that. So even if this person shows similarities, like everybody can find one thing. Maybe I don't want to say everybody. Most people can find one or two things that they have in common with another person, right? And if you are that unhealed, or maybe you just haven't reached a spot of maturity where you can see like, oh, this person reminds me of my mom or my dad in this way, and you can't separate that, then you might have to ask a bigger question in your heart as to why you can't separate the two.
No. I want to go to David and get his thoughts on it, but I love the fact that serving a spiritual father should make you address those parental wounds and those parental pains. Have you? I'm going to David in just a second, but have you had any of that? You serving me, has there ever been a time where I don't know, like I reminded you of your dad, or for real?
Yeah, absolutely. I told you in North Carolina, but I think I told you as we were doing something, and I was like, yo, you helped me understand my dad as a man. Like as a kid, no son, no teenager is going to understand his full grown father, because your mind, like, it's just not processing that. But now as a man, it's like, you helped me understand why my dad moved so militant in certain things, why he was a certain way about stuff being done the right way, why he handled different rooms in different ways. Because I've seen that. I've also noticed, like, you'll have conversations and you'll let the conversation come to you. And I used to try to figure out, like, my dad would be talking to people. I'm like, but you know all this stuff. Like I was, as a kid, I would steal my dad's notes and try to read them to understand. And he would be in a conversation with somebody else. And I'm like, you know all this, like, just dust them under the rug. But then, like, he would sit sometimes how you do receive what they're saying. And he always knew when to cut it off. He always knew when to impart. And I would say, like, yeah, like, you helped me understand my dad as a man. And it doesn't just help me address whatever wounds I feel like I might have. It raises my level of reverence for my father as well too.
Come on.
Like, cause it's like, if my dad wasn't who he was, I don't get the reverence who you are. And those reverence levels, they never rise to where they're supposed to. And same for my mom too. So yeah.
No, that's so good, because if the man of God or the woman of God that you are serving is worth their salt and doing their job, it should make you be a better husband, be a better son, be a better employee, or be a better employer. It should make you grow in those other areas. I want to throw it to David. David, like, when it comes to parental wounds, father wounds, mother wounds, whatever the case may be, or authority wounds, right? Have I ever triggered you? Have we ever been in a place where I reminded you, like, you was like, oh, this might be the same thing? Or have I ever challenged you, in that area? How have you dealt with that?
I don't think you ever triggered me. I just think the story of that you always tell about you and your mother growing up helped me understand my mom, honestly. Like, so, like, for me, at some point I was like, yo, like, maybe I'm just like not the child I'm supposed to fit in. I was like, man, this could be something different, right? So I think hearing about you and your mom was like, maybe she just loved me a different way. So that's why I really had to go back to my mom, and I said sorry. Like, on a real note, I was like, yo, sorry. Because, like, when I was younger, I thought this one way, and then now I'm older and I don't think that way no more, because, I had a good example.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Like, when you a kid, you don't understand that stuff. Like, that's why I appreciate Paul's writings. Like, when I was a child, I understood it as a child. When I became a man, I put away those childish things. And sometimes, like, your parental wounds are nothing more than you just still deciding to be a child. Like, it's nobody's responsibility for you to get that healing but yourself. Like, you can't even use the resources that are around you that are supposed to help accelerate your healing if you're still, like, in that place where you won't deal with the fact that your perspective might be wrong. I
Mm.
mean, so like, I think like, yeah, on both ends, like you've helped a lot with that. So
No, that's really good. I got another question. How do they're talking about you all, but how do you all maintain your sanity while under the pressure of fulfilling their assignment as assistants, adjutants, and armor bearers? How do y'all maintain your sanity?
thing.
Your mental and emotional health. How do y'all maintain that? Because Jeff cries a lot.
Wow, you're crying.
No, I mean he's
No,
emotional.
in
know.
this season of my
I like it.
life, oh my gosh,
Oh,
it's crazy.
He's sensitive.
Yeah,
That's good.
no,
Okay.
no, absolutely.
Okay.
Like when you talked about the crab molting, I said, I'm the crab, guys.
That's crazy. That's
I
crazy.
said, I'm the
crab,
crab right
guys.
now. Yes.
I get you, because once the outer layer is removed, you're in the season of softness and you're tender to the touch. I get you.
Yeah.
But I mean, how do y'all go to therapy? Do y'all go to counseling? Do y'all do deliverance? Do y'all pray? How do y'all deal with the pressure so that it don't get to your mind?
Okay, so you're just gonna make me go first. That's fine. Therapy, absolutely. Therapy, a lot of self-examination. Like the other night, that was like really cool. Just to let y'all know, like it was a moment I was going through something, and Apostle hit me up and was like, "Hey, like you good?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And then he was like, "But your energy shifted, so you have to like, you know what I mean? Like you gotta let me know what's going on." And sometimes like that pressure does get to you, but if I'm being honest with y'all, like it's no way that you could be around your leader and their pressure not become yours.
Talk to it,
If that makes any sense.
Mhm.
Not like, oh, their exact call is my call, but like, no, like it's some people who is like, if they're designed to make people better and you're close to them, then that should give you a signal that I might be designed to make people better. So they're going to enhance my pressure. Like I got a chance to tell him the other day, like he applies pressure to my call, because it's like, just because I'm serving and doing here, if whenever the Lord is like, okay, like, hey, it might be time for you to pastor, it might be time for you to speak. When that moment comes, if I'm not ready, like I can't use this as an excuse. Like that doesn't matter to God, because it's like I gave you the capacity to handle all that. So therapy, doing the homework, practicing, and then also being honest with my sanity, like being honest with you, being honest with my brothers. Like you having a terrible day. This day was trash.
Yeah.
Like being honest about that. Because if I hold on to that dishonesty, then I'm gonna go. Like, I don't want to say I'm gonna go crazy, but it's gonna be a bad joint. So yeah.
That's really good. What about you, David?
I think for me, I usually just pray through it, honestly. Like anytime I'm like feeling like I'm down or in a situation where I'm just like, yo, I need to serve my way through it, I pray a good like hard prayer a good prayer for like 30 minutes straight, and I just be like, all right, I got this. I can get through it. Like that's always like my key to get myself like back straight and become humble again.
Do you find like, so some moments like I'll be driving here and I'll like, it's weird. I'll feel the pressure pulling me in.
For sure.
Like when you on the way here, do y'all be having them moments too?
For sure.
Like when y'all on the way, like the closer you get, the more you feel the pressure. And it's like, yo, I got to be prepared for that. Because that collision is supposed to happen. Do you ever feel like that? Like when you on the way, like you feel like, all right, it's go time. It's time to, boom, boom, boom. Do you ever feel that?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I mean, I think anytime I have an assignment, if I'm just coming up here for a meeting, no. But if I have an assignment, if it's Sunday, if it's Tuesday, if we're traveling, if we're going out of town, if I got to preach, of course. I think the most excruciating thing about doing what we do is that you live under constant pressure, right? All the time. If somebody just texts you and say they need to talk, pressure. You know what I mean? If somebody call you, if somebody says somebody want to meet with you, you just always feel that pressure and you never get used to it. But I think that's one of the reasons why Exodus chapter 17, that's one of the reasons why you need sons, people that'll hold up your arms, because there's times that I'm just like, man, I can't do this. I'm tired. And y'all will say, no, you about to kill it, or go ahead, we got you. Or I can just feel your prayer and your intercession. So 100%. And I do need people that, hold me up and can sense that. I think I'm gonna tell y'all this. Oh man, this is so good, man. Like sons are so important because the congregation has a way of making the pastor feel unseen. The congregation has a way of saying, give me what we want. We got our need. We got what we want you to do. You know what I mean? Counsel, marry us. We ain't going to include you in nothing. But do what you're supposed to do. You know what I mean? And you just feel so used. You know what I mean? Sometimes, not all the time. You know what I mean? I love our church. Our church does amazing. I'm just talking about from the body of Christ. It can just feel like you're a means to an end. Give me my purpose. Give me my calling. give me my assignment, activate my gift, get out the way, affirm me so I can do. And it's like, dang, you don't care about me? Who care about me? You know what I mean? So you can feel that. So to have a group of people that say, hey, our assignment is you.
Mhm.
We care about you. Even if nobody ever checks on you, we gonna check on you. We gonna ask you how you're doing. When you go home, we're still going to think about you. That makes me feel encouraged to keep doing this. You follow what I'm saying? Because if I did not have that, it'll be like, bro, I'll do something else. If y'all gonna treat me like that, y'all gonna act like that, I'll do something else. So to have people that do care about you and they do see you, not just for what you do, but for who you are, that's invaluable. I wouldn't be able to survive without that. So, oh yeah, I definitely feel that pressure, but I also feel the fact that you guys are there for me and that you guys love me and that you guys are definitely helping me. Somebody asked this question. They said, Apostle B seems like a Super Saiyan. He seems like a Super Saiyan bowl. Does that drive you all as sons to constantly, does that drive you as sons out of your comfort zone if you don't have the same boldness? Or by having a different voice or something like that. I don't know if that makes sense. It makes sense to me, but does that make sense to y'all?
Yeah. For me, I think on Sundays, they don't see like that you, I think, what was it? 2 Sundays ago, you did preach, you did baptism, baby dedication, and you did something else. It was like 4 things in one Sunday. And visitors. And I was just like, yo, I could never amount to the man that he is. But to see him do all this in one Sunday, I got to step my game up.
Bro,
100%.
Like, yo, like how I process, like, bro, you cannot be soft. That's just my word to myself. Like, bro, you can't be soft.
Yeah.
Like, you don't got no excuse, because not only was it all that, but I think that weekend he preached somewhere before or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like dealing with seeing him do that, get off a plane, knowing him probably up till about 2-3 in the morning, because Calvin the barber's giving him his haircut.
No, I'll never get no haircut at no 2.
No, not 2 in the morning. You get a haircut like 9, but he just up till like 2-3 in the morning. And then you get up probably around like 7. You know, you go through whatever your routine is, and then you come here, and it's like you walk through it. But it's like you can be tired, but when you walk through here, it's just like game 6
for sure.
Like
it's game time.
It's game time. So
100%.
Yeah.
Somebody said, what is the thin line between disrespect and correction? What is the thin line between disrespect and correction? And I'll add an addendum. Have you ever seen me cross that line?
I think the thin line between disrespect and correction is the person's heart posture when they like giving you those words. Like if I'm trying to be malicious in my heart and I'm saying, yo, you can't do something, then all right, that's disrespect. But if you're like, just I'm trying to better you as a person, then it's just honor. I mean, they're just trying to help you out. That's all. It ain't nothing big or different.
Yeah, I think the thin line is condemnation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm ever talking to you and I start like putting you down, like, and I start talking crazy about everything you do, I'm not trying to correct you. I'm projecting how I feel. I just don't know how to process it within myself. And I've never seen you cross that line. Like, you don't, because also like you, like one of your favorite lines is like, martial arts taught you how to endure pain. So even if you're fuming on the inside, nobody's ever going to have that power over you
100%
for you to cross a certain line. And I think that helps us out too as men. Because again, like, you know, it's life outside of here that we got to do as well too. So you should be able to handle situations without crossing the line of disrespect. So, you know.
Now, let me say this. Y'all are asking some amazing questions. If y'all are looking at these questions, these are some amazing questions. Thank y'all so much. If y'all are joining us, it is Wednesday. It's oh man, we've been doing good. It's 11:27. We're having a conversation call for sons only. This is not just for men; it's for men and women, but more so those that serve their pastor, serve in ministry, are called to undergird and support the assignment of the pastor. So I appreciate you guys for watching. Do me a favor, go ahead, like and share the video. If you know anybody that serves their pastor, tag them in this video, because I think not only will they enjoy this conversation, they'll want to come along for the other conversations. I think they'll love it and maybe even get them on. And I'm only here for a few episodes, all right? I'm just helping to establish the foundation. I'm going to be gone. They're going to be having these conversations by themselves. But I also want y'all to do a segment where y'all bring in some of the old sons, you know, people that have been serving for a while, get them on the couch, talk to them.
Nick, not Elder
or
Nick
whatever the
Nellis.
case may be.
Order.
100%. There's 2 questions because all of these questions are great. This question said, what type of leadership skills have you learned and used in your personal life by serving your leader? What type of leadership skills have you learned and used in your personal life by serving your leader?
You be on set every day producing stuff. I feel like you should go first.
I learned like to be calm in all the storms. So
Yeah.
like me being a parent, I have 2 amazing little girls, and I try, like before, probably like when they was first born, I was like, I used to be angry, like because they cry a lot and I never understood it. I was a new parent. But being around Apostle was just like, yo, you ain't gotta yell, calm down,
Yeah.
talk through it, and then you'll teach them better than you just yelling and trying to get something through their head.
Yeah, I'm an intense person, so I think that like
Mhm.
for me, for real, I am. I've learned you don't always have to be so intense when you're dealing with something. Because if people are still going to respect you, they're still going to take what you got to say seriously. So for me, it's really just been that. It's like, leveling out your measure of intensity. Like certain moments you can tap all the way in. Certain moments just give somebody a 15%. Like they don't even need the 20. So yeah, I think that. And also I have learned, it's the craziest thing. The room. Like if somebody asks you to be in the room, you deserve to be in that room. And I think that's a key thing in leadership to know, because sometimes like you can feel insecure. You can feel like the room is bigger than you. You can feel like it's things that are out, like in every room, there's going to be things that are outside of your control, but you can feel like those outside of your control things are going to have more of an adverse effect than what they are. And they're not. So it's like, like a great leader, like you've taught me, man, like a great leader, no matter what size the room is, he's going to be who he is or she is. Right. And they understand like I'm in this room because this room has a need that the Lord has gifted me to fill. So yeah, I've learned that for sure.
No, that's really, really good. Another amazing question. I really, really love this. Do y'all as sons receive spiritual study assignments or homework?
Yes, man.
Y'all as
Oh my
sons
gosh.
receive spiritual study assignments or homework. All right, talk to them about some of the stuff that y'all have had to do, or some of the assignments and books.
Y'all wasn't here at this point. It was one time where it was so nerve-wracking. He was like, all right, look, this we're gonna do. Y'all gonna preach a sermon, right? So this is the topic. You're gonna pick your own topic and you will come here, you're gonna preach. So it's like, yo, when I tell you I'm over studying, I'm like, yo, because I don't know if it's gonna be like he giving us 15 minutes, he giving us 10 minutes, 20 minutes. We get here, he's like, all right, 5 minutes. And I was like, oh. He's like, yo, you should be able to do this, that, and the third in 5 minutes. We get that, and then we get a lot of tabernacle stuff. I like to I don't want to say steal. I like to borrow like the books while I'm in here in the back. So yeah, I don't leave with them. I just put them back there. Just like
That's great.
Remember where I put them.
All those books on that bookshelf during are those my books?
Yeah, they right here.
No, I'm talking about on the big bookshelf.
Oh, nah.
Who books are those? Because I'm looking at all those books and I'm like, I got all these books. I'm like, are those my books?
Yeah, no,
I gotta go back and look at it.
We only got a specific number we let them use. That's it.
Okay.
But then if you ask, like, if you say like, man, hear me, this right here, it's got everything you need. That means get the book
For sure.
So yeah,
For sure.
What about you? Any spiritual study assignments, homework?
I think you had us read the book about Elijah and Elisha. Those 2 books, those were amazing.
That's crazy.
For sure. And I think when you were doing Give Me Some Space, you read a book from Edward T. Hall. You gave me that. You was like, hey, read this too. So
I gave you that one. I didn't get that one.
Dang, he remembered that title. I mean, he remembered the author though.
I feel like but I think it's crazy too. Like I feel like he'll only tell each of us about specific books because it's like you're gonna need this for your assignment.
No,
sure.
that Edward T. Hall book. I told all y'all about that.
No, yeah, but it's like you put emphasis on like it's like you'll look at this and you put an emphasis on it, like, hey, you need to get this, and you'll like do a stare that's like, okay, this must be intertwined with what I'm supposed to do. So this book actually be more personal to me than the Edward T. Hall book. than what it would be to him.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
I
saying?
get you.
So
No, 100%. Y'all, we've been on here for an hour and 30 minutes. We got to get ready to wrap this up, but you guys have some absolutely amazing questions. Somebody said, can you be a son of a pastor from afar, or does it always mean you have to be in close proximity and relationship? No, you don't necessarily always have to be in close proximity, but you do have to be in close relationship. I will say this is that even if you are a son from a distance, the devotion and the service and the loyalty should still be consistent. And what I mean by that is you have to find a way to serve, right? If you're just gleaning from their information, getting impartation and revelation, but you have no way to serve, or if you can't serve physically because of the distance, if you can't sow and invest, then you're not necessarily a son. A son is making some type of sacrifice and helping the father build what God has called the father to build. So can you be a son from a long distance? 100%. But it does many times take that Elisha extra mile, you doing a little bit more, making sure you are accountable. I got sons and daughters in different countries, in different states, and all the different kind of stuff. And some of them do good, some of them don't do so good. The ones that do great are the ones that is already in their schedule. I'm gonna send them a text every Monday or every Wednesday, because I think sometimes it's unrealistic for sons to put that pressure on the father when there's 20 other people I got to check on. And it's no way I can check on all of them. But you know what I can do? I can be available for you to be accountable. So if you can just text me and say, hey, just praying, do you need me to do anything? Or, hey, just checking in. All I need is a text saying checking in. And that'll at least jog my memory to say, oh man, I've been praying about this particular person. I want to make sure they know this and they know that. Where I get into an issue is when people feel entitled and they feel like you ain't reached out to me. I may never reach out to you, right? Because the pursuit activates the pour. And if I don't feel that level of pull or accountability, I feel like you're fine. I feel like you're good. I feel like you're doing great. You're good. But if you don't pull, then I won't necessarily feel that pressure to pour. So yeah, you can definitely be a son from a long distance. You just have to make sure that you make up the gap through serving and through investment. This is to y'all. How did you all know that the spiritual father and son relationship should be established? And what does that look like in difference to a natural relationship? I don't want y'all to deal with the natural relationship part, but when Jeff, when you came to the ministry, and Lance, I don't know how it was for you. You're not on the mic today, so you can't answer it, but I don't know how it was for you because you came to the church and maybe being back here was not necessarily a goal. I'm thinking about when was that idea like, man, I think I want that relationship or whatever the case may be. How was that for both of y'all? Jeff, it did seem like when you came to Embassy, and I know you say you weren't even looking for that, but even if I wasn't your mission, it felt like you were on a mission. Like you came out of nowhere and it was like, you got right to work. It was serious. It was, you know what I mean? So it was like, hey, he's on a mission. And then for you, David, when was that feeling like, because even you joined the church, but you weren't back here, and me and you still didn't have a relationship. What was the click, or what made you guys say, man, I think I want a relationship? What were y'all looking for? What really made you guys say you wanted that relationship?
Got you. So even before, going back to when I used to work with at YLC with Nick, he used to always be Tuesdays, and he used to have staff meeting, right? So he would come, I was like, yeah, Apostle wants this, this, and this, right? And only way, like he would be like, oh, how do you know? I'm like, I pray for it. So I used to always pray to have Apostle, or have a heart just like Apostle. So I was like, yo, like one day I'll get to that point. So I think after that, I seen you in a camera store at Broadcast Hub, and then that's when I came to him at Enrique's Live Record. Was like, you're my spiritual father.
Mm-hmm.
Like said it straight to him. He was like, what are you talking about? I was like, you're my spiritual father. I said it. He's like, all right, we're gonna talk. I said, cool. And then after that, I wound up coming and start serving on a media team. And then one time he went live at night, and he was like, I want to do Brian Meadows ministry, and I need this, this, and this. That same exact night, as soon as he logged off, I messaged him. I said, I'm down. What do you need? Mm-hmm. And after that, I've been locked in consistently.
For me, I was leaving my father's house, like literally. So I remember I was standing in the parking lot, one of the prophets at my dad's church, and we was chopping it up. And he was like, yeah, little bro, like I know you getting ready to move, blah, blah, blah. When you get down there, you should check out Apostle Brian Meadows. I lie to you not. When he said who he was, it was like my spirit, like, and I was like, what did he say his name was? He was like, yeah, he got an app and everything. So for me, God know me. Like, I need to see the Carfax. So I went on the app. I started studying the Faces of Favor. Download the Brian Meadows app if you don't have it.
For
Faces
sure.
of Favor is a good place to start. You could also do the Times of a Gift as well. Styles, substances, different things like that. You need those. But anyway, so I did that. I came to the church. And I'm like, all right, Lord, like you got me out here. I need somebody who is going to like literally help push me to where I need to go and won't let up. So I get here, Pastor Stephanie was preaching that Wednesday night, it was Wednesday night. She was preaching and she killed. And I was like, oh, this house must be real because he's not even here. And whoever is up there isn't like that. Then he was on sabbatical the next week. It was Apostle Bob. Then he was there. And me, like, y'all know me, bro. Like, once we done here, I'm going. So service was over. I was about to walk out, and the Holy Spirit was like, go shake his hand. And the only person I knew at the time was AJ. So I was like, hey, man, like, I just wanted to introduce myself to him. And when I shook his hand, I was like, hey, my name is Jeff. I moved down here. I'm an actor. The Lord told me to move down to Georgia. And then he was like, man, I will never forget it. He grabbed my hand. He was like, man, I got you. We're going to draw you in close. You're going to be taken care of. Inbox me information. We're going to get breakfast, boom, boom. So a couple of weeks went by. We started coming to this building. And the Holy Spirit had already been putting the bug in my ear. Like, you need to have that conversation because sonship starts like you, especially when you are coming from somewhere else. Like, that's a conversation that has to have. That's not something you can just assume or just put yourself in a line of fire for, because sonship is like, it's a lot of warfare. It's a lot of responsibility. So the Holy Spirit had been putting the bug in my ear. We came here one Saturday. It was the first lead meeting here. They was walking around with a bullhorn. I left my bag back here. He was like, I got to get ready to go preach. And I'm like, I got to get my bag out the back. And Dre was back here. I can't remember who else, but Dre was back here. And he was like, man, yeah, like, I'm got to go here, this, and the third. And I was like, well, which one of y'all going with him? And he was like, oh, well, Dre was like, well, we all got stuff to do. So I was like, man, like, I kind of finessed, like, I kind of got finessed into the conversation because I was going to wait.
He finessed it.
Yeah. I had nothing to do that day. So I'm like, man, you know what? Let me just go serve. Like, all right, cool. Boom, boom. Went to serve. And while he's preaching, the Holy Spirit's like, you have to have the conversation today. We got done. We went to Wagga Mama, I think, or something like that. And that's when I was told him, I was like, yeah, like the Lord had placed it on my heart to submit to you as a son. I don't know what that looks like. But I know that this is something that I need to do because it's a part of my mission. I didn't know that it was a part of my mission.
Yeah.
But it kind of, and the reason I say like I got finessed into it, because I came down here like, all right, I'm gonna act, I'm gonna do this and a third, I'm gonna focus on this, and like God finessed me right where he really needed me to be. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
No, that's really, really good. Somebody said this, so I want to make sure that we deal with it and we address it. They said, so sons are the pursuer because Elijah found Elisha. And this is so good because it's a common misconception. Elijah found Elisha, but he didn't chase after Elisha.
Yeah.
Right? Elijah found Elisha. He gave him a moment of activation. He identified ministry. He said, you're amazing, blah, 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 blah. But then Elijah left. And Elisha had the responsibility of following after Elijah. And I know whenever we get into this whole following conversation, a lot of times it's not even entitlement. I just think people have been so rejected, abandoned, and maybe they had parents that didn't like show affection and affirmation. So they have an affirmation deficit. So they come into a relationship and they feel like the pastor should be the one checking on you and calling you and I'm waking up and prophesy. No, you have to be accountable. You have to check in. Matthew 25, verse number 14, when he called the servants unto himself and he gave them talents, he takes a journey. And then when he comes back, they have to be accountable and say, hey, look, this is what I did with what you've given me. So 100%, there's always a moment of connection, identifying, and discovery. But after that, the onus is on the son to keep up the pace and to keep up the connection and to keep up the relationship, because the father should be focused on what God has called that particular father to do. So that's really, really good. Is it part of the spiritual father's responsibility to recognize the son's bent or calling? 100%. It's not my job just to pastor them and just to be a nice mentor. It is my job to have a spiritual plan of development for their call, for their purpose, for their gift, for their assignment. The difference between a pastor and a father is that a pastor can cover and pray and intercede, preach the word, but a father usually has an architectural design for that particular person's ministry, what they are called to do in the earth. The Lord has given that to them in their DNA. And that's one of the ways that I know that I'm with a son, is because I can see all their potential, and I can see all their businesses. I can see them being a millionaire and all they're supposed to do. So I can kind of see their life like that. And then it's my job to walk them through that, prophesy, make sure I'm giving them, like they said, whether it's books, activation, and those types of things. So 100%, a father that can't see the assignment of the son can't necessarily do his job well. Somebody said, do you remember the first day? Do you remember the first day that you served as an armor bearer? Were you scared or nervous? I doubt you guys were scared or nervous or whatever. Well, I know you, because you had just got saved.
You was never,
You were, you were a little bit different. But Jeff had, a father that was a pastor, and then David had, served, I think, before in some capacity. So I don't think you guys were nervous. For real? Okay, well, go ahead. Answer
I'm
that
not going to
question
say nervous. I would say aware.
Okay.
Because everybody's preparation style, everybody's cadence when they're speaking is different. So I think the thing that I had to get used to the most, like when I first started listening to you, I was listening to studying for impartation. Then I had to, then that same prayer that you pray, like, Lord, like, give me a heart. Like, and mine was specifically like, okay, like, help me learn his spirit, like help that be a part of, my pattern in life. And I had to learn your cadence. Like, like, okay, when you're about to make a shift, when it's like, some days it's like, you can tell like by your energy if you're going to work the altar. And it's like, you gotta like, all right, cool. Like North Carolina, it's like, I knew we wasn't leaving that building just off the energy that was put into figuring out which fit we was going to wear. We're not leaving this building without impartation happening. You know what I mean? So, but it takes a couple of times like to be able to learn that. So I wouldn't say nervous. I would just say like, when you serving, like you want to be as faultless as possible. So it's just like a heightened sense of awareness.
100%. What about you, David? Do you remember the first day you got back here? The first day you served, the first day you were an armor bearer. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember it. That was the day that he walked in and rebuked everybody at one time.
For real?
Yeah.
First day.
That was one of the realest days that ever happened in here.
Yeah.
Was that because y'all weren't out there?
Yeah, that's an eternal calendar moment. No funny.
That was when y'all weren't out there.
Mm-hmm.
And you were here?
Yeah.
Dang.
I'd say everybody was here. We just all happened to be here.
How did you feel though? Because that's your first day. You walking in and I'm rebuking people. How did you feel? Like, what was you thinking? Like, this is not what I signed up for. What were you thinking?
No, I was just like, this it? That's it? Like, you not like on no like about the like rowdy, like, yo, you didn't like, no, you was cool. It was just like, if y'all here, do these things. And I was like, I can do that. Yeah. Cool, simple. I was cool.
Yeah.
That's crazy that we all kind of got like the same, like every, because the world like will condition you to expect more when you're getting reprimanded. So it's like you kind of like, oh, that's all? Like, that's like them Jones be hurting more than the radical ones. Cause it's like, dang, you just be feeling like that was so stupid to me, wasn't it?
But that's like crazy. But I think, number one, what I want to do is I never want you guys to be afraid to make a mistake. You know what I mean? Because I don't think that that's a good place to grow. You know what I mean? You want to, feel the freedom to explore. That's why I'll tell you, man, you're moving fast, but I'm never going to be like, don't do this. No, you're moving fast, but what you're doing is great. You know what I mean? And what you all do is great. So I never want to discourage you guys from doing that. So, and then, one of the things I'm working on personally is, I know I'm dramatic, but see, if you know, what does that mean? Why are you laughing? But what you feel like? What does that mean?
It's how you say it.
It's a good dramatic, but it's like you really do like you care so much. I think it is that it really shows in your rebuttals and your reactions.
For real?
Yeah.
You did it again too. You said I'm dramatic. Like you shouldered it.
I'm just because when I said that, it's almost like that was like in his gut, like he was waiting for that. I've never. He just responded so instinctively when I said that. But no, but but I want people to know that I'm dramatic, but it don't mean nothing.
Yeah.
Like if I'm like, oh my God, That don't mean nothing. I'm not mad. You know what I mean? I'm gonna do that. I'm a theater major, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna do that, but then I'm right back to like, hey, we good, you know. What do you mean? They can't hear you because you're not on the couch.
But like anytime you talk about martial arts,
oh yeah,
you be like, you gotta see this. Like, that's actually cool to see because a lot of men don't know how to show it. So like I remember growing up, I used to want to be that, like I want to show that passion, but it'd be shot down. Be like, bro, chill.
Y'all can't hear what he's saying, but what he's saying is I can be dramatic or passionate, and a lot of men aren't, you know, kind of free to express that, and me expressing that, I guess, gives him the freedom to express that to whatever degree. Whatever. We're gonna get ready to end this, man. It's just every time I'm about to end, I see a question. I'm like, man, that's a good question. I like this. As a son, Crystal asked this. As a son, how do you navigate understanding your role as a son to serve him and your burden to help build the ministry and serving in other areas? Well, let me say this. Remember, we dealt with this, I think, in episode 1 or episode 2, where we talked about there are levels of sonship. There's a son of God, there's a son of the house, and then there's a son of the man or the woman of God. I would not accept you as a son backstage or back in the office if you're not serving the house adequately, faithfully, and consistently. And then I wouldn't allow you to serve the house if you ain't serving God, or if you don't have a relationship with God. So your relationship with God is number one. Your relationship with the house is number two, because if you're not serving me, you get rebuked, you get set down. I don't want you to then leave the church or have no connection with the church just because your only connection was me. So having a connection with the church, serving in another ministry, David serves on the creative team, Jeff serves on with purpose and stuff like that, singles ministry, Lance serves set design, and that's where I really saw his faithfulness and his consistency with set design. So all of them are required to serve in the ministry or on a ministry in some way, shape, or form. So as a spiritual father, this is good. So as a spiritual father, a spiritual father can have multiple spiritual sons, but can a spiritual son have multiple spiritual fathers? The scripture says there are many voices, none are without signification. The scripture says, for you have had many teachers, but very few fathers. You can definitely have many fathers over a lifetime, but it is hard to have many fathers at the same time. All right. So when I first got saved, my spiritual father was Pastor A.T. Lands. After I transitioned from that church, my spiritual father was Apostle George Dorton and Apostle Trent Frank. And the reason I say both of them is because Apostle George Dorton was more so my mentor, but he was a father figure. And Apostle Trent Frank, again, I even asked him to be my spiritual father, and he said no, he would be my brother. So they were like father figures in my life, but they did my marriage counseling and they walked me through my calling and all that different kind of stuff. After that, it was Bishop Dale Bronner, but even he was more a mentor. I even asked him to be my spiritual father, and he said that he would be my mentor. And then my next spiritual father was a man by the name of Apostle Tim Early, and I stayed with him until he passed away. He passed away, and then after he passed away, I ended up getting connected with Bishop Joby Brady. So I had fathers, but they were never at the same time. I would always warn people having too many dominant voices in your life, because if they conflict or if they contradict each other, you now are at a quandary to know who to submit to or what to say. And they may be feeding you a totally different diet than I'm feeding you, and it could start to fight against each other. So I don't think that that's a wise thing to have a whole bunch of spiritual mothers and a whole bunch of spiritual fathers. But I think that sometimes we use the terminology and we're more so speaking toward respect than necessarily real service. So it's okay to say that person's a father, that person's a father, that person's a father. It's okay to say that because they're a father figure or a mother figure, but there's no way you're going to be able to serve two masters, or there's no way you're going to be able to submit to two pastors. So, but that's a really, really good question.
That's actually crazy. Like, I'm not going to be your father. I'm going to be your brother.
Yeah,
that's
but
crazy.
And in all honesty, it hurt me at the time.
Yeah, I was going to
felt like rejection.
How'd you process that?
It felt like rejection. It was only as I got older that it was actually respect. You know what I mean? It was like, no, where you are, you shouldn't. I don't want you to be my son, but I'll mentor you. So after a while, I got over it, but 100%, I felt abandoned. I felt like nobody wanted me. I felt like nobody cared. Nobody saw me. Like, dang, man. And I think I was trying to be so good at what I did until somebody recognized me. Not recognize me to give me a platform, but recognize me to say, hey, you're special. I care about you. And so nobody ever did that. The first person to do that was Bishop Brady. Wow. Bishop Brady is the one that said, you're this and you're that. And I'm like, you see me. You know, like the first time he came to our church and he prophesied, I'm on the floor crying because nobody was ever that specific and said, hey, I see you. Like when you were by yourself and what you're doing, all that different kind of stuff. So he was the first person that's done that. Dr. Trim, she was one of the people that literally like was like, we're waiting on you. I remember one day I had to do a panel for Dr. Trim, and afterwards I was getting ready to leave, and she was just like, wait right here. And so I waited, and I bent down to kind of hear what she was saying, and she literally got up in my ear and was like, what are you doing? We're waiting on you. The whole world is waiting on you. We're waiting. She said, we're waiting on you to lead us. What are you doing? And I remember, I don't know if y'all remember that time I did a live with Dr. Trim, and she was like, you're my pastor. You know what I mean? She was like, yeah, you're my pastor. That
was the Atlanta joint.
That was when we did this. Did an online thing.
I'm saying when she was like, wait right here. Mm-hmm. That's the Atlanta. Mm-hmm. Oh wow. Yeah, that was crazy.
100%. So people like that. I remember Dr. Bynum ended up calling me and giving me a word. You know, so it's people like that pretty much, you know, were kind of, you know, just pushing me and letting me know who I was. But before Bishop Brady, nobody, you know what I mean? So that's one of the reasons why I dedicated my life to him. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I'll serve him because he saw me when nobody else saw me, you know? So, 100%. We got to be done. We got to be done. Wow. All right, y'all. Look, it's so many questions. If y'all see any, let's write them down. Let's take a picture, do something so we can like start our next session with these questions because wow, y'all got some really good questions. But look, y'all, we appreciate the time. We appreciate the quality time. I'm gonna throw it to the couch for last thoughts, comments, concerns, or anything like that. But before I do, I just want to say, look, every single Wednesday, 9:30, we try to get on at 9:30. Today was 10. It was a little bit late, but we really want you guys to join in on the conversation, join in on the community. Go ahead, like and share the video, subscribe to the YouTube, follow on Facebook. But every single Wednesday at about 9:30, our guys, sons and daughters are going to get on the couch and we're going to talk about what it's like to serve, the ins and the outs. And I promise y'all, look, they're going to get more comfortable. They're going to get more raw and more real. All right. And plus, that's going to happen as we have more experiences, right? Like we will have an experience on Sunday and that y'all gonna be like, I can't wait to get to Wednesday because I'm gonna tell them what he did. You know what I mean? So we're gonna have a good time, but I appreciate you guys' patience. I'm throwing it to the couch. Final comments, thoughts, concerns, talk to us about what's on your heart.
My final comments would be if you're a son or if you want to be a son, always pray to have I would say pray to have your leader's heart. And also, if you're a son, don't allow anything your leader say fall to the ground. Try to pick it up and actually do some work. So
I was just about to say, when you say fall to the ground, what do you mean?
Like if he says, hey, I want this building filled by the end of next year, do the work to evangelize and get this building filled by next year.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I would say keep your heart pure. You know, I see a lot of people in here who are asking questions about being healed because some of y'all are hurt. That's very valid. We never going to do anything to invalidate what you've been through in your experience. But no matter what level or capacity you serve in, keep your heart pure. Because more reward comes from that than what you know. Even if you feel unseen, if you feel unheard of, you know, like Apostle just said, nobody ever, you know, really told him that until Bishop Brady. And if y'all understood how big Bishop Brady is in the kingdom, like that's like the Don Dada. So
yeah, watch that, bro.
Huh? You said what?
You gotta watch that.
Yeah. Like if y'all understand like his effect.
Like, y'all understand how big Bishop Brady. Don't talk about my
No. Like his effect, like his influence, man. Like so it's gonna come. Somebody's gonna have that moment for you. Just keep being consistent. And man, when Apostle drop off of here, grow with us, man. Like he giving us grace right now. Y'all got to go watch Grace and Growth, man. Like y'all need to go watch that. He's giving us grace right now. Grow with us. Like if these numbers drop, we might be hurt. So
100%.
stay with us, man. Rock
I
with
love
us.
y'all. I love y'all, and I appreciate you guys. We're gonna have more of these conversations. I'm really liking the format, and he finished upstairs. You know that?
We were trying to go up there and look. We ain't had
Yeah,
keys.
we'll go up there and look. But he finished upstairs. Well, I mean, he finished the wall. You know what I mean? So we're gonna have another set. We're gonna have a whole nother little design. It's gonna be really, really good. All right. Until next time, I appreciate you all. This has been For Sons Only. All right. We haven't asked for any money. We don't ask for no support like that. Only thing we ask is that you go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow the Facebook channel, like and share the video, and tag somebody that serves their pastors, tag somebody that's called to ministry. We believe that these conversations will be super productive and super supportive for them. All right. Until next time, we love y'all. We're praying for you. We can't wait to see you. If y'all need anything, hit us up, and we'll see you all next time. All right.